what's my personal injury case worth? That's a question that we get asked all the time by not only our clients, but potential clients who contact our firm for representation. And it's a great question to ask, but it's also a very difficult question to answer, particularly early on after the injury occurs. And in fact, it's almost impossible to tell someone what their case is worth, quote unquote, right after an injury occurs. And I'd be highly suspicious and skeptical of anyone who's out there who says, call me and I'll tell you how much your case is worth, right after you have an injury. Because there's really no credible way to tell someone what their case is worth. And there's a lot of factors that go into advising someone on how much value to put on their injuries. In other words, how much compensation should the victim expect to receive based upon how bad the injury was. So this video is at least to give you an idea of the factors that we consider when advising someone what the value of their personal injury is. So the first thing that you need to look at, and probably the simplest thing to look at, is what are the economic damages, i.e., what are the medical bills? And the medical bills provides a hard number, and there are medical records associated with that, because you've got to go see medical providers who provide diagnosis and all kinds of treatment for you, and then there are bills associated with that care. And so obviously someone who's very significantly hurt that has hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills, they have a very serious injury, and their case is valued at higher than someone who, fortunately for them, only treated for a few months or so and didn't need surgery and recovered pretty well. So that's the first thing that any experienced personal injury lawyer will look at is what are the medical bills and what are the injuries. And then another category is what's commonly referred to as pain and suffering. And so that is, in Colorado, is called non-economic damages. So those are exactly what it sounds like, pain and suffering. And so what impact did the injury have on the victim as far as what pain they were in? And what was the experience like after the injury? Were they, bedbound and unable to move for a long time? Or did they have to use specialized services to be able to move? I mean, that's all pain and suffering, non-economic damages. Did they have to have a surgery? Things like that go into non-economic damages. Unfortunately, there's no calculator or there's no software program, there's no formula that anybody can use to input a specific type of injury and then it will spit out what's the non-economic damage there. So that's when it's important to have an experienced personal injury lawyer who, based on their experience in representing a lot of injured victims, can help advise, based on the individual circumstances and injuries that you have, what they believe the value of the non-economic damages. And then the third category is what's called physical impairment. And so that category, again, there's no formula that anybody can use to decide what the value of the physical impairment damages are, but that's the impact to your function. So how you've been impaired, i.e., what things could you do previously that you are no longer able to do now? Or what things could you do previously or you enjoy doing previously and you can do now but you pay a price? So for example, if someone's a runner and they were very active in running, they would do recreational races and they got hurt and then now they're no longer able to do that. That is what's called a physical impairment. And there are things that we do in our firm in a jury trial and also with insurance companies when we negotiate to try and put a value on that particular category of damages. So those three areas, economic damages, non-economic damages, and physical impairment damages, all go into the final value of what someone's personal injury claim is worth. And importantly, it takes a while. And I always advise clients that this is not a fast process, because we need to make sure that you complete all of your treatment, and we've spoken with your doctors, and we know, do you have lingering long-term effects from this injury, or hopefully for your sake, have you recovered? And if you have recovered, do you need anything at all to accommodate you because of the injury? And so that takes time. And anyone who says that they can tell you what the value of your personal injury claim is worth within even a few months after the injury happens, I would be skeptical of that opinion, because like we've talked about in this video, there's a lot of things that go into it, and most importantly, there's a lot of time that needs to elapse to make sure that your lawyer fully knows what the long-term impact, what your damages are, before advising you what your personal injury claim is worth. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, or you can contact us at 303-919-7777 or kanetrial.com.